What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Punk Wrestling Podcast, hosted by myself, RM Punk. Today we're going to talk about what happened in SmackDown last night, and we're also going to just introduce myself, talk about why I'm doing this, and what this channel I hope will be going forward. So, I've been a wrestling fan since 1992. I'm not a young'un, been around a little while. So I've seen the good and bad in wrestling throughout the years. The first match I really remember, I'm not saying this was the first match I watched, but the first time I really remember I like wrestling, was British Bulldog versus Shawn Michaels for the IC title. There was a superplex spot where I believe Bulldog hit the superplex but hurt his back, giving Shawn the win and taking the IC title. That was obviously around the SummerSlam 92 in the UK, which I think is probably why I got into it. And it sort of went from there. I was always watching it. My best friend would watch WCW and I'd watch WWE or WWF at the time. And we'd sort of, if I was around his, we'd watch Nitro. If we were around mine, we'd watch Raw. It was just the way it was. And it was just always so much fun. And then sort of going along the years, just watching it, then the Attitude Era came in just around my teenage years. So you can imagine, going through puberty, Attitude Era, perfect combo. And it was, it was great fun. Hitting all the stunners everywhere, doing, even though everyone's hitting the stunner, rock bottoms, whatever, I'm like, no, I want to hit a sharpshooter. Because I was still Shawn, Brett. Those were my guys. And, just always been a fan. Now, carried on watching. Lived with someone who watched it a lot. Went a little bit of a break, sort of went around the time I moved out of my parents' place. I couldn't afford Sky. In the UK, if you don't have Sky, you can't watch WWE. And this is before all the streaming was really a thing. So went without, barring going around with mates to watch WrestleMania and the Rumble, as you always do. Ended up moving in with my friend for a little while. Got back into it and carried on watching it. Big into NXT when that came around. CM Punk, obviously. No questions where I got the name from. It's not that hard to work out. And yes, I've always been a wrestling fan. And recently, so why now start a YouTube channel talking about wrestling? I've always wanted to do something outside of my normal day-to-day job. And the death of Brody Lee really affected me more than other deaths seem to. Like, the fact that he chased his dream, he went for something, gave it a go. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube during the pandemic, been sat at home a lot. I thought, well, you should try. Like, you've always wanted to do something, you've always wanted to talk. Why not talk about wrestling? It's what you love talking about. Why not broadcast it to the web and see if other people share your opinions, can debate your opinions? I know I'm not always right. I'm going to have opinions that people aren't going to like. And people are going to have opinions I don't like. And that was one of the things that made me speak up with Brody's death, was people badmouthing WWE, turning someone's death into as part of the AEW versus WWE war. And I thought, that's not right. Like, I should share my opinion on this. So I did a lot on Twitter, and people were like, AEW. So they're both good wrestling shows. You don't have to like one over the other. There are bits on AEW that I really like, and there are bits I'm like, it's alright. Same with WWE. SmackDown's great right now. NXT's great right now. Raw, part of shite. It's a drag. It's hard to watch, but the rest is great. And AEW is fun. Matches are great throughout. It feels to me a little bit like old WCW, a bit too much sometimes, but that's just my opinion, and we're all entitled to it. So hopefully that gives you a little bit about why I want to do this, why now, and yeah, when I was talking about YouTube, watching a lot of YouTube, the guys at Wrestle Talks, last Parts of Unknown with Quizzlemania, it's been a big part of my lockdown. Stephen Larson, always been a fan, and that sort of said, well, I'm not too young to maybe start doing this. These guys aren't the youngest in the world. It's not just a young boys game. We can all have opinions and talk about it. So let's go for it. So SmackDown, shall we? Shall we talk about last night's SmackDown, shall we? So it started off with Roman, as most shows do. He's running wrestling right now. I have to admit, I did feel like I know it's part of the story that he controls wrestling, so it's all at his own pace. But the entrance is getting longer and longer before he starts talking. They piped in "You Suck" chants this time to sort of, that'll put him off. Oh, he's not going to be happy about that. And it's not real, but all right, we'll go with it. He says that Owens was going to make a statement tonight. Well, no, because I control the show. He's not there. Then talks about everything that happened last week. Says card subject changes how losers think. That Adam Pearce is a puss for moaning about injuries, what have you, when he's not been active. He hasn't wrestled in 6 years. I'm here every day doing what I do. And the card subject change is how losers think. He starts lifting off body parts that hurt himself, mainly that his back hurts from carrying the company for so many years. Pierce comes in, says this is too much. Like, come on, let's just get on with it. Roman says that Pierce is KO's bitch, which means, well, you're definitely my bitch then. Says he hasn't been in the ring for years, complaining about his body hurt. I've already gone through that. Paul starts laughing. Pierce says he can take the crap from Roman. He understands it. But he's not taking crap from Paul Heyman, of all people. Obviously, Roman then cuts in and says, Heyman, he's disrespecting you, which means he's disrespecting the family. Heyman steps in, says, I'm from New York. I'm not no bitch. I'll still whoop your ass. And it looks like we've got Heyman versus Pierce for tonight. Shenanigans. We know there's going to be shenanigans here. We know it's not going to be Heyman versus Pierce to main event the show. But, we know where the story's going. It's all good. Sammy comes out with a poster, billboard, I would say. Hashtag justice for Sammy. And handcuffs himself to the barrier as we go to break. After the break, Sammy says he's going to enter the Rumble. Rants a bit about last week, about how he lost the title, how he might have had the tights on Cruz accidentally, but Cruz then got him the win with the tights, and it's all a conspiracy. Ask His Music hits, and Charlotte, because we're out for the next tag match with Charlotte and Asuka versus the Riot Squad with Billie Kay at the side. A nice little touch by Charlotte here. She walks down, she just gives Sammy side eye, just like, really roll her eyes. What are you doing? So, little note, Billie Kay's got a bit more punked up this week. Blue tartan trousers. Cole is like, what the hell is she wearing? And Graves is just like, oh, it's quite cool in certain circles. It being a punk, like, yeah. She's wearing, it's fine. It's not her, she's fake, but it is what it is. And you've got Natalia and Tamina are watching backstage. I don't know what they're watching. Are they looking to be another tag team in the tag team division? I would assume so. Liv has been impressing me in the ring for the last few weeks, for sure. Her match with Natalia last week was great, and she's put in a good showing here. It's quite hard to book Asuka and Charlotte in tag team matches, in my opinion, because they have to be dominant. You know, it's the two top women in the company as such. The Raw champ and Charlotte, the favourite of the company. So they're always going to be strong. But it was an alright match. Billy distracts the ref on a roll-up, which gets reversed. Ruby gets the roll-up on Asuka, but the ref is still distracted. That leads to the final scenario where a code breaker into a natural selection, and Asuka and Charlotte win. After the break, Riot Squad backstage. Billy, sorry, didn't mean to interfere in the match, didn't mean to get it wrong. Ruby goes off. Kay says, look, got you in the Rumble. You know, you're in the Rumble, we can practice. I could be Belair, you can suck for a minute. She starts doing the hair twirly. You know, it was quite amusing, it was alright. Ruby says, no, there is no us. Riot Squad was better with just us, pointing at those two, Liv and Ruby. It looks like it's building to something, which is good. Each individual segment is okay. It's more about the final destination with this one as to where it's going to go. I don't know. We'll see how we go from there. All right, Daniel Bryan then is next up, coming out. He's in his suit. Walks past Sammy. You notice that Sammy's still chained to the guardrail. We're all happy with that. Basically just hypes up the Rumble, discusses the rules of the Rumble, how exciting it can be, which I agree with him. You know, Rumble is the best time. Says the Rumble makes him feel alive, explains what the Rumble is. Cesaro interrupts, cuts a promo on Bryan, saying thanks for explaining the rules. I could have done it better, in 5 languages, by the way. Cesaro then lists some of his credentials. Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner. Bryan, you know, so I've been thinking a lot about last week. Starts taking his jacket off, calling out for a fight. So I was like, nah, I've done this. I'm fed up of proving himself every day, every week. He's already beaten Bryan. You're not in ring gear. You're not ready to compete. I'll do an open challenge. Out comes Ziggler. Talks Bryan down a bit. Accepts the challenge. So you got Bryan on commentary. Pretty good match. Pretty quick. Bit of back and forth with the pins. Bryan talking both competitors up, which was nice. Bryan is really good on commentary for that, of just hyping the other guys, which I think he's doing in the ring as well. He's really putting people over in his final run in the company, which is great. You know, it's what we need. He's a good star and legitimate, and it makes sense. And he obviously wants the best for everyone around him. It's not all about him. I do think he could go on to win the Rumble. Not my favourite to win the Rumble, but I think he could. And it'd be a good story. Does he go over? If he wins the Rumble, does he go over Roman? Let me know what you think. It'd be great. It's 5 years too late, but it'd be great. Next, you have Banks versus Reginald. Now, I'm not going to lie, not a huge fan of Carmella's new gimmick with Reginald stuff. It's not really doing anything for me. However, Reginald versus Banks, it was a great match. It was great fun. Reginald was at NXT. He used to be in Cirque du Soleil, and that showed in this match. He was just flipping all over the shop. It was great fun. So the match started off with Reginald trying to give Sasha a rose, being all sort of pervy, I guess. I think that was the connotation there. Sasha tries to slap him with one hand, he blocks, slaps him with the other hand. Nice, good slap there. Yeah, it was just lots of flip. He was reversing and flipping out a lot of her moves, which was great. It was a really good meteora from the apron to the outside in front of Carmella, who's drinking a champagne. Sasha throws the champagne in her face. 2 seconds later, she's got another glass of the champagne, which was a nice little touch. Like, well, I don't really care. She's got another one. In the end, Sasha wins with a bank statement, but it was quite competitive. Like, more competitive than you expect. I think it's going to be a little squash match. Like, yeah, I get my hands on your little whatever he's called, the wine guy. But it was good. Backstage statement after that. Backstage segment after that. Roman and Paul. Paul says, "Yeah, we got him. That's great work. We did that." Roman's like, "What? No. I told you to deal with it. Like, do what you do, which is tear people apart verbally. I didn't ask you to start a match, get into a fight. I didn't ask you to challenge him. You're on your own. Go out there and handle it." Paul's like, all shocked. Yeah, we know something's still going to happen there, don't we? So we go to break after the recap for the Big E title match that's coming up with Cruz. You get Big E taunting Sammy in the only way he can. You know, Sammy's still handcuffed, obviously, and Big E's swinging the belt between his legs. When Sammy's sign now says, "Not my IC champ." Cruz is already in the ring. Good old job to start there. Very hot start, back and forth. I think it was a belly to belly. The splash on the apron. Cruz hit the standing moonsault. It was very high pace, looking like a really great match, which is of course the time where Sammy uncuffs himself, comes in, hell of a kick to Cruz, DQ, hell of a kick to Big E, end the segment. Looking to a triple threat there. I think we're in agreement that. I don't know whether that will be at the Rumble or after the Rumble, as Big E and Sammy are obviously in the Rumble. We will talk about all the favourites for the Rumble on another episode, because that's an episode I want to talk about, but Big E will be talked about. Kevin Owens does a promo next from his car. Says he wasn't allowed in the arena. Says he can't stop fighting because Roman has yet to beat him like the champion that he says he is. Says he's always had help from the family. Talks about what his tattoos mean to him, about his family, as to why another reason he won't stop fighting. Says his initials on his knuckles are his two grandfathers, and that they were sick, but they fought through and gave them extra years together. But then his biggest regret is they didn't get to see him into WWE. It was a very good promo. Very good promo. Should it have been in a car? On like a little camera? Or should that have been, like, it's quite a big, powerful promo. Could have been perfect in a contract signing or in-ring segment. I don't think, like, I get it for the storyline that he can't get in the arena because Roman's being a little bitch, but do a little bit more than that. It was quite a big, powerful promo to be done in his car. But that's just my opinion. Next up, out of backstage, Street Profits. We've got a fruit basket in tow. Cut to Sonya talking with Dolph. Dolph walks off. Profits congratulate Sonya on the job. Like, oh, this is. But first, before we give this to you, we want a rematch. Like, it's been a few weeks now. Like, we deserve a rematch. We want our rematch. Sonya said, yeah, you know, you've put in the work. You won the Slammy Awards. You were champion for so long. You know, you do totally deserve a rematch. However, Montez, you're still not 100%. You're not fully fit. And if you were to go out there now and get hurt again, you know, it would hurt SmackDown as a show if you're not on it. So just stay out the back for now. Stay out the back. Like, do you hype up your show? Do your funny segments? You know what I mean, fam. Let others get their opportunity, and yours will come along. Obviously, they give him the fruit basket, but they give her the fruit basket, but they're clearly not happy with it. And it was an interesting little segment. I'm interested to see what they do with Sonya with this. It's not where I would have put her when she came back. I would have really liked her to return at the Rumble, win, challenge Asuka, and that would have been a great match. But again, everything with SmackDown at the moment, this story there that you're like, well, this could be good, this could be interesting. And that's what you want from a wrestling show. So they're taking us on a journey. Let's see where they're going with it. Next was the obstacle course. Now, I didn't have much hope for this segment, I'll be honest. Just didn't seem like it was going to be fun in most of these segments. It was pretty good. Like, standard stuff. Cole's hosting, apparently. Until Bayley comes out. Says, no, it's my show. I got this. Talks through the course. You've got a tyre flip, some little hurdles, you know, some climbs. And then a fireman carry that Gable had set up. She said Gable had set up. And then a basketball hoop to finish. So Bayley's first up. She's struggling to do the tyre. She takes quite a slow time doing the hurdles. She takes her time starts to look like she can climb the climbing walls, but then goes round them instead. And you're like, yes, Bayley isn't as athletic as Belair. We're aware of this. But did she have to look like she can't climb over a wall? I don't know if that was intentional, like making her look weak, or whether it's like, no, I'm just taking the piss because I know you're not going to do this. Fireman carry on Gable. Again, looks like she's struggling a little bit. Took 2 shots at the basket, 1 minute 12. So then it's Bella's turn. But first, got to EST this up a little bit. She changes the hurdles from the little yellow ones to 3 big hurdles, which is fine. I don't think she didn't change anything else. So Belair runs its course. She does the hurdles really easily. Obviously, she used to be track star. Does the walls. Gets to Gable. Gable's like, no, you're not lifting me. And then out of nowhere, there's Otis. Of course. Odd that he's in this segment, quite happy to try and screw over Belair here. But maybe he doesn't understand that he's 4 times the size of Gable. But he goes onto the steps. Belair puts him in fire's carry and walks easily the 20 feet, which was a nice touch. She then gets the basketball, calls out Bayley to place in D. To slam dunk. Done. 17 seconds left. Bayley then throws the basketball at Belair, attacks, throws her into the ring post. Not the ring post, the basketball post. It's all good. Then you've got Rey and Dom next. Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio. No, I love Rey. This stuff with Dom at the moment isn't working for me. It's just not. He's not there yet. No charisma, really. Like, he's okay in the ring. He's obviously learning, but the charisma's just not there. He's not his son. But yeah, they're prepping. Ray's prepping him up. Like, we'll do this your way this time. But, You know, if it doesn't work, then we'll do this my way, which is Ray versus Corbin. And a very short match. A little bit of offense from Dominic Mysterio, but was like a knockout punch. And at the end of the days, they keep talking up the Golden Gloves in this feud. I don't know if they're heading that way, that Corbin's a boxer again and going to start hitting more punches. It is what it is. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. Just wasn't interesting. Right, you had Pierce versus Heyman coming up next. They had already said earlier in the show that Roman had left the arena. Now, so I was like, oh, maybe Jay comes out. You know, we'll see what happens here. So, Heyman's walking down the entrance ramp. He's taping his hands up as he goes along. Goes to the steps, trips. He's like, no, I'm okay. Goes to the steps again, trips again. Now he's out and he's like, no, I can't do it. Oh, gets the microphone. Oh, you know, card subject to change. Roman Reigns comes out. Superman punch. Pierce fights back a little bit. Outside. One punch, I think it was. And then Roman hits a low blow. Throws him out into the crowd area, screen area, whatever you want to call it now, I'm not too sure. Looks like they're setting up what they did to Owens a couple of weeks back off the top of the stagey bit with all the screens. KO comes out, attacks Reigns. Bit of back and forth, Roman in control, then there's a stunner. The refs come down and start trying to break it up. I thought, pull apart for all time to end the show. Not forgetting that there's another week left. You know, I'm thinking, oh, well, that's how you end the build. But no. Reigns gets stunned. Owens comes in, goes into the ring, around the refs, back out. Another stunner. Pop-up powerbomb through the table to finish. It's a good way to end the show. That's what I saw. I don't know about this, anyone else in the UK, but when the US guys tell me what happened on Raw or SmackDown, there always seems to be about 20 seconds that I don't see. So the last thing I saw was a pop-up powerbomb. I've been told that there was a bit of bad, like trash talking, and a thing where Owens went to get a steel chair or steps, but I didn't see any of that. So it ended with me with boom, and I was quite happy with that. Another good week of SmackDown. SmackDown's consistently being a good show, interesting show, little bit attitude area in that everyone seems to have a story. There is something for everyone in this show. There's not a match just because of a match. They don't need to put matches on for people to get into the Rumble because there's other stories going on throughout the show. There's stuff with Sonya Deville, what's she doing? The Street Profits want a rematch. Cesaro is on a bit of a push. Daniel Bryan wants to win the Rumble. You know, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, obviously. The Adam Pearce stuff. Big E, Sammy, Apollo Crews. They're all in storylines. That's what makes a good wrestling show. Not just matches. And that's my opinion. Like, there's some of the best athletes out there today. But without the story, it's not worth watching, in my opinion. You know, I can watch a spot fest and enjoy it, but I'd prefer there to be a story. And SmackDown seems to be giving us that. There seems to be stories throughout. I know Brian's part of the booking process now, and that seems like a really good thing, really good move. But yeah, going forward, I would like to answer questions after this part of the show, talk about what's going on, see what other people think, give my take on things. But obviously, being the first video, no chip questions yet. So thanks for listening or watching. I hope you have a good one. We'll be doing a Royal Rumble breakdown before the Rumble. See how we get on. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe. I want to try and build this channel, build a community. Thank you. Bye.